All right, people. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. I'm not going to play games today, and I don't have to deal with anybody, so I can say what I want. All right, people. This is going to be the hardcore, real hardcore truth. Whether you're ready for it or not, if you're not, you'll probably just leave the site, which is okay. If you're ready to hear it, stay in. Let's start with everything that's out there, starting with TV. All right, we got Ancient Aliens. Here's a show that shows you things that are happening or what are on the planet. And then you got 10 people all giving their scenarios, what they think it is, and what they imagine it to be, and all those kind of stories. They're storytellers, people. They got no truth, they got no understanding, and they're basing it on programmed ideas, which are like out there every which way from anybody that's out there that wants to talk about something, even though it has nothing to do with what's going on for real. All right, Ancient Aliens, they keep talking about aliens being here. All right, and this is what they did. These are the things they did. Does any of it have anything to do with the truth right now? Building the pyramids. Who cares? Is it going to help us today? No. Are we going to build pyramids to live in? Are we going to go to Mars and build pyramids? All right, all the stories of the giants. We killed them all, people. Well, maybe there's a few in hiding somewhere, but most any ones that were publicly out there, mainstream, were killed. All through history. So are we going to spend the time analyzing and worrying about them? What good are giants? No good. There's a picture that just went up, found in India, of a giant holding 2 elephants on a stick across his neck, hanging them like 2 animals that he just killed to eat. And they're a lot smaller than him. So he had to be a really big giant. So imagine that. They were eating 2 elephants in the meal and stuff like that. Well, how good were they? What kind of spiritual beings were they? None. All right, just so you know, people, I'm going to tell you straight out. There were no spiritual people here ever. All right. And I mean ever since Atlantis went down. All right. The human races that came out or were left, there were 4 races: black, yellow, red, white. All right. They became the races that have been here. The races that were here in Atlantis, there were 9 races. 5 of them left. I'm not going to go into that story. We're going into the truth right now. What can help us now? What is beneficial to the human race? What is beneficial to us? Anything? All right. Ancient Alien goes into crop circles, you name it. They deal with everything and try to say aliens did this, aliens did that, and aliens are going to do this and they're going to do that. All right. Now, if you go to all the UFO conferences, people, they're charging anywhere from $500 to $1,000 for a UFO conference. Really? Then you got to pay for the hotel and spend a couple days there. You might be entertained, but outside of that, I don't think you can get anything else beneficial to you. All right. Now, let's talk about that. They have 10, 20, 30 speakers at these conferences. They're all giving you their viewpoint, their twisted stories, the stories they heard. And here's another word that comes out among the UFO conferences: experiencer. It's a delusionary word made by man, like many other words, saying he had a good experience or a great experience with aliens. Now, there's lots of them coming out, more so every day. Oh, I had a great experience with aliens. Oh, they took me here. They showed me this. Oh, they told me this. All right. I'm telling you, it's a program, people. Aliens can program people just as the government can program people. And both do for major reasons. The truth cannot come out. All right. Now, I'm going to stick with this thing for a little bit. When we go into Ancient Aliens, they all got their character and their personality, who they think they are and who they're pretending to be, and what they think they know. But when you see them online, you'll see the greatest this or the most important person in the UFO world, the most important speaker, the top speaker. Really? And you got to be the top speaker, but can they have any truth to talk about or spread? You could be out there talking all day long. If you have nothing to say, what good is it? None. These people claiming to be experiences, coming out telling their stories. Does it have anything beneficial for the world? No. All these races are here and they're going to help us. And I have to give up friends because they're delusional. Am I? No. Is that my viewpoint? Yes, I'm not. I say I'm crazy, go insane. Everybody else is saying going crazy. Big difference. All right. For me, when I talk about other people that I have to unfriend, I'm not going to say their names directly, but I'll say what they were involved with. Bigfoot. I was friends with this guy for many years. Then he gets married, and suddenly his wife he married, became a UFO expert. And now she's also a Bigfoot expert. And she talks to aliens, and she talks to Bigfoot and all that. And so is he. And I had him on my show one time, and I asked him, okay, what proof do you have? Well, I got 200 people. You got 200 witnesses that say what? Bull? I have thousands of people that were abducted, say they were abducted. And some of them could actually prove it. Prove they lost their children at like almost 9 months pregnant. I mean, x-rays from the hospital, sonograms, you name it, proof from the hospital. I do a show with a woman that's been abducted half of her life, almost all of it. And it's incredible because her proof is much more than almost anybody out there in the UFO world talking about being experiencers. You could create a great story. Now, even Travis Walton, his story, Fire in the Sky, people around him coming out and saying it's fake. So it's up to you to believe it or not. I wanted it to be true. Not that I want him to be abducted, but I want the idea that the facts are there. But even if that's a lie, what good's that to the world? To prove something's real or not, sometimes it takes 25 years, 50 years, or it never comes out. Who was really responsible for killing Kennedy? One of the most important events for major reasons. And nobody knows. 9/11. Nobody knows the truth of what really happened. Well, at least anybody out there mainstream that can talk or talk about it. All right. Now, where's the truth fit into this? It doesn't. There's no truth in any of this bull stories. All right. I'm going back to conferences. You go up there and this guy is talking about, well, they saw this UFO. Okay. Now what? Well, we think they're going to do this or they might help us do that. Might? Think? Is that a word that we need in our reality right now when we got so many disasters and major problems going on? Well, then we got other speakers. Well, I was with them on the ship and they showed me these cities and we're going to, and what? We're going to go to these cities. Why? All right. Second of all, why would you want to talk to an alien? Oh, they might tell us what? How man got here? And you're going to believe their stories? They're great storytellers, the same as people are. All right, let's go into the Anunnaki story. Story, people. Zecharia Sitchin translated what he called it and created a scenario of what the Anunnaki were, who they were, what they did, how they made us, and all the lies he could possibly put together. When man writes something, it's usually 90% lies. Oh, no, it's all fact. By his viewpoint, he could be looking at a tomato and say, oh, yeah, it was a pineapple. Definitely was a pineapple. You know, twisted views by limited thinking or limited awareness is dangerous to mankind. I'm not going to go into the government yet because that's the most sickest, pathetic thing we got going on for us, and it's destroying us. So at these conferences, you'll spend 3 days there average. You'll listen to 20, 30 speakers all telling their stories. You go home and you sit there. Oh, this guy saw an alien. Oh, this was a real ship. Oh, and then what? Nothing. Do you have anything that could help move your life forward? No, you don't. These people are debating each other right now and attacking each other. UFO speakers like Stephen Greer, who's the biggest storyteller out of them all, is going out there attacking Luis Elizondo. However, how you say it right, but I believe he's real. I'm waiting to talk to him. He said he would get in touch. He wanted to talk to me. We'll see what happens with that. If it happens. When people never get back to me, I believe they're liars. Or they're afraid to face the truth. I'm talking to a really cool guy. I'm not going to mention him. I might be bringing him on my show in a week or so. Pretty old. He was friends with certain people in the UFO world in the beginning of the creation of the word abduction. So I feel a person out. I listened to him for a little while. And after about 5-10 minutes, I already know that they're delusional, lying, and ignorant to what's real. Oh, well, why is my truth so real and theirs is not? Before I go into all this, people, take the most simplest. The idea is look at the world, not your living room, your bedroom, or outside in your yard. Look at the world around. What's happening in Africa? What's happening in India? What's happening in Russia? What's happening in Germany? What's happening in all these countries? Then look around the United States. Look what's happening in the United States. You can determine if we're moving forward or backwards. We're not moving forward, people. All these cloned spiritual love and light, airy-fairy dreamers come out and say, oh, we're going into sixth dimension. We'll be spiritual beings. Everything will be beautiful. What world are they coming from? La La Land. And what are they going to give us? Stories of bliss. Buddha did that. But at least he brought people, if they did meditation, to a bliss state. A limited state, a limited consciousness, even though people love the word consciousness. We are not consciousness, people. When we say universal consciousness, there is none. If you want to relate that to something, you should relate it to a God, and a real God, not the delusional man-made God either. Consciousness. We're all one consciousness. And we're all assholes. We do stupid things. And we're a consciousness? Who? Satan's? When you say universal consciousness, are you looking at a world? What's going on in the world? I'm trying to finish 2 books at the same time right now. Trying to do a workshop. The workshop will be coming up probably within 2 months, hopefully. I know many people aren't going to come because people don't want the truth. They love lies. They love stories. They don't want to know what's really happening. Only if it's coming from La La Land. Everything's beautiful in their own way. Really? Whose way? Satan's way? All right. Drug addicts' way? Mafia way? New World Order way? USN Agenda 21's way? Whose way are they in? And who are they following? Who's leading it? Who's doing the promoting? Who's doing the creating? Not God. Not a real God. Delusional idiots might be. All right, people. Let's move on to like these people mainstream doing movies. It used to be people that had any truth about UFOs or anything about it, they would put it in a movie. Steven Spielberg did that with a 6-part series, going back to any of the first original monster movies, and back in those days, they didn't know much about aliens. So they always showed a spaceship, and they always showed the Greys. The Greys were the most popular because they were the most seen aliens on this planet. Getting caught, abducting more people. So let's go into that, people. Good aliens. Name one. Oh, the Sumerians, the Andromedans, and oh, really? What can they do? Alien races that are good, or say they're good, cannot go against the reptilians, the Greys, the Nordics, the Mantis. Cannot. If they're mass killers, they'd be able to. And if they're saying they're spiritual or aware beings, they can't. But then again, nobody's spiritual in this world. Come on, people. Think it. Put your thinking hats on. Think to yourself, what is a spiritual person? And how do you fit into that? What would make you spiritual? What could you do to make yourself spiritual? Talk to aliens? Get on an alien ship? Go to Mars? What's going to make you spiritual? Talking to Musk? Talking to Gates? 2 idiots with money? Anybody with money, anybody with lots of money are ignorant fools. Sorry, people, I'm calling it what it is. They're not spiritual people. They don't care about humans in any way. Poor, homeless, starving children, or even women, older abused women and things like that. They don't care. Who do you think made all the laws on this planet? Who do you think made all the laws in the United States? And I'll do a racial issue. The white race. The British and the English came into the United States, stole a teaching from the native people, and created a constitution, and a legal constitution, which we accept as the most perfect rules to live by. Native people were outlawed from the Constitution. Do you know that, people? Do you understand that? No. You think the right to carry guns is a law we should have right now? Well, if you have a right to carry a gun, you should be able to use it then, right? No. Why not? You're saying everybody has the right to carry a gun. Why would I want to carry a gun if I can't use it? Most stupidest, ignorant thing to go on. And then the people that have them, oh, I'm a good person. Well, how many good people go out and shoot somebody? But a sad thing most people don't consider, the gun world, there's, what did they say, twice the population of guns in the United States? That should be scary. Never mind, do you know more people commit suicide with a gun than people get shot with a gun? So either way, oh, it's for your protection. No, give it to somebody that's depressed so he can shoot himself, blow his brains out. What kind of ignorant people are out there? You got any morals? No. You don't know what the word morals mean. You got a God? No, I'm God. What else you got? Anything I want. I can do anything I want. I'm anybody. I'm everything. I'm a universal consciousness. Of whose consciousness? Joe Schmo? You know, people, you accept things because of programming since you were a little kid. And that's where the problem starts. Children have no spiritual protection, no spiritual awareness guided, because children are gifted in a lot of ways when they're born. Able to see the light and sound, travel, meet beings, entities, and everything else in between that. They don't know good and bad from any kind of different viewpoint. And then parents will take that all away and say it's all bad, it's all delusional, while they feed them more delusional ideas. How many adults, women, could teach their daughter about relationships? Well, I had 5, I had 10, I had 15, I had 20. Really? And you couldn't find one that was right? You didn't know how to make a relationship right? So what are you going to teach your child? Well, make sure they do this. Make sure they got money. Make sure they, what? Aren't evil? Don't do drugs? Don't smoke? So how much percentage of the planet smoke and do drugs? Why? Because they're not meeting their friendly aliens? How about the depressed? They're bored. They got nothing to care about. Wow! The new science world is teaching you how to take and do medicines and drugs and get shots and all these other things to destroy your health. I'll get into the vaccine later. Let's skip that for now. I want to stick with people that go to conferences, come home, have nothing, and if they believe one thing they heard at the conference, oh, there's UFOs up there. There are! Thousands of them. Every night. Everywhere around the planet. But so what? Oh, well, if they were there, they would destroy us. Why do you assume they would destroy you? They're here for a reason, obviously, people. And people don't want to know the real reason. They want to make up stories what might be the reason. Oh, they want to help us. You go out in your yard, walk around, look for an ant colony, and then kneel down next to it and try to teach them to speak English. Are you that programmed or idiotic, brain dead? Do you think you can program an ant to talk? So what do you think aliens believe about us? We're walking choppers. Can we say anything important? Do we know anything important? Well, they built the pyramid somehow. We got here somehow. Oh, we know nothing. Science keeps proving more of nothing. Oh, the black hole. We all came out of a black hole. Bend over. You're coming out of that hole. All right, you know, these people talk about black holes. What is a black hole? Oh, it's a hole everything can go through. Well, who went through it last? Who came out of it last? A sun, a star went into it? All right, then we got the other twisted story from scientists saying, okay, the Big Bang! Pop! Everything's here. What a way to make reality. You don't believe in anything, but Puff the Magic Dragon blew a fart and created the world. People, you ready for the truth? No, why not? Rather listen there to brain dead people telling you, oh, this pyramid had this going on. Oh, this pyramid. Oh, this is where Jesus was born. This is where Jesus was buried. This is Jesus is that. Do you have any proof of anything? Now, as far as proof, the only proof of anything that cannot be proven a lie or what it really is the Shroud of Turin. What was the Shroud of Turin? Was it truly a sheet over Jesus when he died? I can go into that, but I'm sure you don't want to hear it. You're going to classify me with all the other delusional idiots. I'll get into a little more about Jesus in a little while. All right, because there's a lot of things that are important. Whether you believe he was real or not, whether you believe in all these other stories, that's your choice. The truth is, are you ready for any truth? The UFO world is real. There's been ships over us for hundreds of years and thousands of years. More so in the past 2 years, daily. And I'm telling you, I can see ships every night when I go out. I got all people in the neighborhood watching ships and everything every night if the sky is clear. But last night I went out for an hour. I saw one light ship blink at me and then nothing for the rest of the night. 2 nights before I shot a video of the light ship blinking at me. 2 nights before I shot a ship going across the sky. 2 different ones going different ways. One super fast and one super slow. There's many things going on. But are they affecting us right now? No, not that we know. The government knew that aliens were real in 1952, the year I was born. Why? Fleets of UFOs went over the White House. And guess what happened? Truman realized something was dangerously wrong. He created MJ-12, which was the people and are the people responsible for keeping the UFO world quiet. So nobody knows the truth about it. Now, if you want to know the truth about it, are you ready for it? They're not coming here to help you. Well, you know, science likes the idea of UFOs and aliens. Oh, they could teach us. Teach you what? How to make more weapons. Oh, somebody's talking about the wobble in the chat room. Yes, we went into a wobble. I don't know if people know this. Recently, in Africa, well, basically they were killing all the elephants. They need the land. The water was sucked out of the earth, where it was, and it threw a shift onto the planet. 12, 13 inches we moved, which causes a planet problem. But I don't want to get into that right now. I'm going to get back to, okay, all right, when we talk about these people and talking to aliens, well, what do you think they can tell you that would benefit the human race? Not science and not weapons. Science cares about technology that cares about the future of what? Unknown. Now, when we talk about what they're teaching us, what are the United States government working with aliens for? They are working with them, people. They're giving technology to destroy, destruct. Now, one thing you need to learn, D, directed, E, energy, W, weapon, directed energy weapon. What is it used for? What is it good for? Nothing. What is it used for? Everything that can cause serious problems to the world and to the United States. And they're using it in the United States right now. Do aliens care? Does the president care? Does anybody care? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But you'll believe Trump bending over backwards saying something stupid. Like he created a space army. What an ignorant statement. We had a space army since 1952. All right? They've been here. They've always been here. Majestic 12 went to Majestic 32. People, I know you don't know that either. Well, I was friends with one person from it who was killed. I was supposed to get something, which he was killed right before I got it. But besides that, what are they here for? Because people don't want to know why aliens are coming to this planet. Nothing is beneficial. Weapons and food is not beneficial. And I don't mean food they're bringing us. I mean food they're taking from us, meaning people, animals, plants, you name it, and water. All right. Now, how far are we going to go with this? How far do you want to go? Do you want to know what they're doing in space? What they're doing with other planets? Oh, we go to Mars. We got bases up there. We got bases on the moon. We had a base on the moon. I saw a video of it, whether it was ours or somebody else's. Or, I mean, us from the future, us from the past. Who knows what it was? The Pleiadians people are us. They look human. They are very much human, but they are us from the future. Doesn't make them super spiritual aliens. We call them that because they're not here and present in the United States. But if you want to go into all the races that are dangerous, okay, one ship will manifest. They will have a mantis as the ruler of the ship. They will have Nordics walking around on the ship. They will have Greys on the ship, and they will have reptilians on the ship. Draconians are in their own reality. They're doing their own mission. All right. Then we got a lot of other alien races that supposedly help mankind. No, they're not. Name one thing in the past 30,000 years after Atlantis went down that was beneficial to the human race. Nothing. What happened after Atlantis went down? We became massive killers, rapists, murderers. We love sacrifice. We love war, hate, and anger. That's what the Anunnaki brought us. Not a new person, not new fingers, a new head, new eyes, or any of that stuff. Just a sick program that man accepted. Did you hear that? Now, all these people going on and on about a Tic Tac. Do you watch the movie or videos of a Tic Tac online? This little dot going. Okay, now what? What is it? Who's in it? What's it doing? So what are you telling us about a Tic Tac for? We don't even know what it really is. Sergeant 18, a friend of mine who used to be friends with me, kind of came into money and disappeared. But we filmed more ships, more UFOs that look like ships than anybody else in the United States. People, if you're ignorant or don't believe it, check out Global Sciences. Check out even Carrie Cassidy. We were on her show for 9 months. Every week we put 5 pictures up. Not clone pictures, not synthetic pictures, not graphic redone pictures, real pictures of real ships, entities, creatures, you name it. Do people care? Well, when we did Strange Universe, which is online, you can click on the link from my show last week. I put the video up of it. We did a show called Strange Universe. They came out to the house and they did a couple hours with us. And they filmed one video on a screen of a ship going across, shooting ships out. It's only about 2 or 3 seconds on that movie during the show, but they showed it on TV. And guess what? The next week, Strange Universe was taken off the air. Guess what? John Ford, who shot the best video of a UFO crash in Long Island, was arrested that week as well, and he was supposed to be on. People, you know, they say they don't care, nothing's real. It's all they're not letting any truth out yet. When they released that stupid paper 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, saying it could be Russia, it could be China, it could be India, it could be a make-believe organization, it could be anything, but probably not from outer space. This is after 50 years of the UFO scenario, all the documents and everything that they did. They're going to tell us that it could be a Russian ship. People, listen to this. Do you know what the United States Army and Navy and Marines and Air Force are supposed to do? Protect the United States, people! Right? Do you understand that? All right. Second of all, when 1952 happened and a fleet of ships went over the White House, who were they? If you're saying they're Russian ships, you're saying we have no way to protect ourselves from any country. Today, you can go out and see a UFO, and when the government tells you, oh no, they're just satellites, our satellites. Really? And then if it looks like a UFO or moves like a UFO, oh, it's a German ship, Russian ship, Chinese ship. Really? Again, they're saying we cannot protect the United States. Are you that brain dead? If a ship comes over, it comes real low, lets the whole city see them, and the government does nothing about it, then what? Oh, Russia's saying hi. They can't go over our area. We can't go over theirs. I mean, even with chemtrails, Russia will shoot any plane down trying to shoot chemtrails over their country. He's not stupid. Putin said on live TV between 3 and 6 months, I don't know the exact month it was, on Russian TV, that they're dealing with aliens. 2 alien races want to destroy the planet. How could he say that? Why would he say that? Think about it. Well, that alien race is trying to destroy the planet. Why would he say that if they weren't fighting with them? And then when freaking Trump meets Putin, the next Trump comes out with the space army. And a week later, he goes, I want to be president when we go to Mars. Why? Where's his ego? What's that have to do with anything? Anything important? We got starving children, raped, murdered, abused children, and he's worrying about going to Mars or seeing us land on Mars. Now we got all these rich idiots putting all their money out to fly in a spaceship. Just think, and I'm going to repeat this, when Jesus said it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to go into heaven, it is the most realist, important statement ever made to the planet. Because every rich asshole is screwing up the world, making it worse for the poor and middle-class people every single day. All right, people, let's go somewhere else. I'm going to skip around here. Let's go to underground cities. Do you have a clue? Nobody talks about it. Why is that? Not one person. Jesse Ventura did a show on it years ago. Yeah, he was taken off the air, his third season. But he did a show on it. And he went inside an underground city. Let's see, where was it? I don't know. I'm bad with names. I'm really bad. I got dyslexia with names and stuff like that as well. But where they're building a New World Order city, temple, above ground. Jesse Ventura went there. It's got a 6-foot wall around it. It's as big as the White House and all the land around the White House and everything else. And it's a house. It's directly over the underground city. Somebody came to Jesse Ventura and says, hey, do you want to go underground? He goes, sure. And they drove underground for miles underneath in the city with all these steel doors and stuff like that. But across the way, there was a super gigantic parking lot. So, people, do you care? Do you care what's really going on? I'm sure you don't. You want to believe in some fairy tale that something good's going to happen. What good can happen right now? We get a new government. The world gets a new government. They become loving, compassionate beings that run the government. And then what? We're all love and light idiots. We have to do and say what they say is right as far as, oh, you're a compassionate being. You can't say a curse. You can't smoke. You can't do. What do you think would happen if we was all supposed to be spiritual? And what does that mean? You don't know. You have no clue what the word spiritual means. Not one person out there. Text me, call me right now. Tell me what it means. And when people use the word unconditional love, really? Unconditional means there's no conditions for it to exist even. All right, let's get back to this underground city. What are they doing in them? Well, Jesse went to an underground army base that was actually a missile asylum where they had missiles originally, and they created an underground city there. He goes, can I come in? No, you can't. He goes, what's going on? Well, we got 10,000 people. We will take 10,000 people in the end times, and after that, we shut the door. And then Jesse Ventura goes, then what? He goes, then nothing. So they're already planning, and it was planned for a reason, people. You don't build underground cities across the United States and to other parts of the world for no reason, all right? And obviously, if it goes to another country, there is a reason, and they are in agreement. While they feed us this anger, hate, wars, how countries hate each other. Well, there's a few countries that should be taken off the planet. Sorry. We're in a violent place. It's called hell. H-E-L-L, hell. It doesn't get better here. It's not going to get better. The angels of light aren't going to come down here and wave their magic fingers over the air and make everybody loving, compassionate beings. We are not. Most people have not grown enough to even understand the next level of spiritual awareness or awareness in itself. These UFO people, oh, We're going to become higher dimensional beings. Aliens are going to raise our vibration. You got Nasser Harriman claiming he's got the Ark of the Covenant. Said he's going to link his up with the one that the president has. Drumble Melchizedek says he's working with the beings inside the earth and he's going to bring them out. That was years and years ago. You listen to these people, they feed you lies and you believe it. You give them money, you pay them to speak to you. About what? Nobody wants to pay me for truth. I don't care. I'm not in it for money. And I'm not in it for fame, fortune, or anything. I'm only here until I serve out my time, which is almost served out, and then I can leave. You think I'm going to care about all these ignorant people on the planet that don't want to move forward? That are happy with the passions that keep them here? Lust, greed, anger, vanity. Lust, greed, anger, vanity, and attachment. I reworded them. Sex, drugs, drinking, smoking, cheap thrills, sports, their idea of sex, their idea of love. All those things keep men coming back, women coming back. Children. Do you know what Jesus told his disciples when he wanted them to follow him? Leave your families, leave your children. Why would he do that? Somebody that was very spiritual, who was the most spiritual person to ever walk this planet, people. He was not an alien, all right? He was a human in a human body, except he had 32 psychic abilities. Because he went through that word that everybody tries to claim, ascension. Nobody ascends. Sorry, nobody goes through ascension. Everybody ascends into the astral plane if they leave this world. Some people stay here because they're angels. No. Because they're demons. No. Because they're stuck souls. They never had any awareness and they're going nowhere because they have none. Now, if you want more truth on that stuff, let's go into Area 51. Is it real? Doesn't matter. It's a real base. It's where they brought an alien ship. But besides that, let's talk about the Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk Project. In detail, they were working on children doing brain operations and stuff, but that's besides the point. They created a vortex. They created the Montauk chair. They were trying to do time travel and everything else because they already had it. Tesla already invented it. All right. But what happened? What did they really do? They created a vortex in, the most dangerous vortex that I know is in Wanacue, New Jersey. Guess what, people? Tesla worked with DuPont right there, underground. Ships crashed there. Ships were going in and out of the reservoir where after they flooded a city. You have to know the facts. Very few people understand that, and they don't talk about it because it's the most important UFO story to exist next to Phil Snyder's story. Both of them should wake you up, open your eyes, saying it's not about a tic-tac going through the air. It's about what they're doing to the planet and the people. And nobody's talking about that. Oh, well, they might this, they might that. Talk about the people that get killed, abducted, go missing. The people that are aware of their experiences on the ship, not a program. Here's how it went down. 1952, Truman told when they were working with aliens, when you abduct a person, they can't remember it. For a long time, most people had they call it missing time. But somewhere the soul was fighting through the conscious of the mind to bring the truth into their bodies, and then they were aware they were abducted. I was doing past life regression, psychic implant removals when I was young. I started hypnosis at 14. All right. I'm talking in the late 60s. I did words that nobody even heard of, like past life regression. Nobody was doing that. Nobody even cared. All right. Then out-of-body experiences. Then a word that people don't want to deal with is the silver cord. Oh, I never saw it. Well, you don't have to see it to know that it's there and not know. I'm not going to go into that spiritual side because most people aren't even ready to go past their physical body. Why would they want to go into the astral body? Oh, it might be better than here. Well, it's a cop-out. If you can't learn and figure out what's wrong with here and know the reasons why you want to leave, not because you love your family and you want to come back to it, that's not going to help you. Do you want something to help you? Or you want to listen to stories about aliens and ships in the sky? Or what? What the government's been doing? The government has been working with aliens. Trading humans for technology. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. Not about becoming spiritual giants. Not about learning about a real God. All right. I'm running out of time. I don't want to do this too long because I know you're bored. You don't want to hear truth. But that's the way people live. All right. Let's go to a word. Okay, everybody talks about consciousness. We're all one consciousness. They want to be one consciousness. Fine. That's what you want to be. Maybe you'll be that. Be sitting in a conscious ball with all these rapists, murderers, child abusers, and thieves, liars, sex perverts, you name it. All those kind of people. You want them in your consciousness? You want to be part of it? And that's part of yours? Guess you're a sick person then, and you don't realize it. But angels. Let's start at a lower level. What are angels? Angels have never been teachers, people. Nowhere in history. Not teachers. They didn't come down here and teach. Ancient was deities, and their teachings were a lot different. But they didn't say, pray to me 24 hours a day, pray to me 8 hours a day. Man makes everything becomes vain about them, about their ego, about their feelings, about their emotions. Really? Jesus didn't come here to do anything they say in the Bible. Not really. He showed love. He didn't create it. Love did not exist either, people. Not before 2,000 years ago. Women weren't love objects. They were just objects. Go back as far as you want. Women were nothing except in Atlantis. And then when Atlantis was destroyed, women and men were programmed, not recreated. All right. Look at the facts. Look at people. Look at us going back 30,000 years, 20,000 years. The giants were a separate race. They weren't humans. They tried to have sex with humans, and that's why we killed them all. But again, do you want the truth? You want more lies? Just think if we had as many giants on the planet as we did people today, there'd be no planet, no food, nothing. But then again, we'd have super big houses. All right. So let's go into this word, angels. Every angel story or not, was a short story. Not a long book, not a thesis or nothing. It said they came to tell somebody something. Now, Muhammad was told by his brother he met with Gabriel, and Gabriel taught him. If you read Quran and you read what Gabriel supposedly taught him, they all contradict each other. One will say talk to everybody, one will say talk to nobody. One says keep this up to yourself, one says spread it to everybody. Everything contradicts each other. No angel would say that. When Noah met an angel, if he didn't listen, what would have happened? Well, that's a fake story. Well, you could say fake or real. But if you're trying to say angels come here to teach us, what did they teach us? What did they ever teach us? Anything about deities in that realm, Kama Sutra and all those words existed. It was all about sex. Everything. Then when you see it, the son of the deities was an elephant. Think about it. What was going on in that realm? The first religion on the planet was worshiping animals because that's all that was here. And that's all they knew. So then they crossbred animals with humans and then created half human, half animal deities. Sure, they become some real deities as well. But what are they teaching? The word God wasn't created by Jesus, really, a single God. The Mayans, the Egyptians, all said gods, G-O-D-S. While they worked with deities, very few deities, More so when aliens came, they accepted the aliens' teachings greater because now they could see balls of light and touch them and all these other things that made it real. Made their gods real. What was the teachings? I'm going to tell you. Everything the deities or aliens taught the Egyptians and the Mayans was bullshit. Lies. The way they embalmed themselves, the way they immortalized, what they had to do and prepare and all those things. It's pathetic. You wouldn't want to do that if you were going to come back to your body, no matter what. It's brain dead, programmed, conditioned, idiot fools. And to have all that time spending working on pyramids and doing, for what? What good is a pyramid to a universal consciousness of idiot people? Oh, well, shoot beams of light. To what? To travel to another star or planet? Why? Are they coming and going this way now? And why would they want to? Well, you take all these stories, and that's all they are. My story, you want to hear it? Listen to my show. Come to my workshop. I promise you, you'll know 1,000 times more than any other person walking the street about God, about angels, about deities. Why? I have direct experience with it all. No, I'm not claiming to talk to God like Mr. Whatever his face is and talking to God all the time. Really? You think God needs to come down to planet Earth to talk to a bunch of idiots in this universal consciousness programmed stupid idea? What do you think it would say to us? What a bunch of pathetic, sick morons. And I allow it to stay? It does allow us to stay in hell for one reason. The only reason why you're here is to learn you don't need to be. And when you do, you go to the astral plane. And when you learn you don't need the astral plane, you go to the mental plane. When you don't need the mental plane, you go to the etheric plane. When you don't need that, you go to the soul plane. You become soul, realize, and soul what you truly are. And you can stay there. That's where you can stay forever, if you desire. But God created a pathway that never stops. So there's always one more step if you're wanting and willing to take it. Very few souls do. Very few souls will get off the get out of the physical plane, meaning this world. Never mind get off of the astral plane. All you're gonna hear is stories about how great the astral plane is. Oh, you don't gotta eat. You can fly. You can do this. You can't kill people. You can throw energy at people and things like that, but you can't kill people. So what benefit is? Oh, it's better than here. I don't feel like eating. Hey, greetings. Hi. I don't know if you can pull up the chat. Let me see what comes in. Let me just stick something in the chat room here. No, I think that's the wrong one. Let me just tell them to check the chat room. Check the room. I can't even type and talk. All right, let me just invite them in. I can copy it here and put it in the chat room. Anybody wants to come on, I'll put it in the chat room. You can click on it and come in. All right. If anybody's in there, you can come on if you want to talk or not. But all right. People, I get mean, nasty, and ugly. Well, I look at a world deteriorating right before my eyes. Every level. And I saw horrible things when I was little. I saw horrible things when I was younger. When I got older, I saw horrible things. It's not like you see better things as you get older. You don't. You wish and pray and dream about it. Hello, Sasha. Greetings. How are you?
Hey, Tommy. How's it going?
All right. Did you just tune in?
Yep. I just saw your link you put up, so I used it.
All right. Well, I'm getting into all the garbage on the planet right now. Getting pretty violent. Anything happen in your world you want to bring out? Say, talk.
Nothing worth to report. Everything's pretty much going downhill.
Downhill is at a rapid speed, which is even more scarier.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't get to the word God yet. I was just on angels. Getting back to the angel thing. They brought messages always. All right. In Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot was given a message from an angel. He wasn't being taught by an angel. Any message that you ever heard was given by an angel. So they weren't mass teachers. They didn't come down here to teach people anything. They have their own mission. Now, I'm separating that from angels or guides that people get for themselves. It's not going to be the 9 angels mentioned in the Bible. They were directly working for God. All right. Now, there's hundreds of thousands of angels. I mean, for a number, but there's way more than that. Because the average person has at least one, never mind 2 or 3. I was talking to a person, said they got 3 angels. I said, well, do you talk to them? Well, I don't know how. So having angels around you and listening to them are really important different things.
Hold on, I'm confused. If they claim and say that they have angels that they see or do whatever, how are they not talking to them?
Well, the one had a psychic tell him that there's lots of angels around him. I mean, people believe they have angels around them, and if they don't,
I have to say, the more people I meet and talk to and try to expose them to the reality of things and how things really are, the more I learn. A lot more people than I expected are in trouble in terms of being brainwashed.
Well, again, let me just get back to that angel thing. When a person has an angel, if they don't learn how to communicate with them, they're useless. It's like saying if you live in a house, all the windows open and the storm's coming, the rain's going to come in. If you're not told to close the windows, you're going to leave them open. An angel's there to guide you, all right? Not teach you, but guide you. And if you're ready, they'll take you out of your body, and then they can teach you. They can't teach you in this reality because you only know what this reality is. And they're not here to keep you in this reality. They're here to raise your awareness so you get ready to leave this reality. Aliens cannot go past the astral plane, people, whether you want to believe that or not, no matter what they tell you and what they show you. I mean, they can show you beautiful cities in the astral plane, but they're not going to show you anything beyond that. Angels are, like I said, the ones that are in the Bible, there was only 9 mentioned. And those 9 angels are busy doing God's work, not creating stories and working with people. Everybody says they work with Michael and Gabriel. They don't. But again, when you're working with a deity or an entity, you can't tell them who they have to be. They'll come to you and tell you who you want them to be. Say something comes to you. I'm Gabriel. He could be a demon. How are you going to prove that he's not? Well, exactly. You don't know how. You don't know how to challenge a deity. You don't know how to challenge an angel or a deity. I mean, either one of them can come to you, and you should know if they're real or not, and then what they really want to give you, to teach you. But then when we go into demons and entities, how do you know how to challenge them? And no, you don't. Nobody teaches that. Very few people even have a clue how or what to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would think a good rule for most people when they meet or experience an entity, if they try to teach you or trying to keep you anywhere within the physical reality, it's probably not good.
Well, you're 100% right about that. If an angel's saying, oh, you need to get a better job and live life beautiful, be happy and enjoy the luxury of this world, there's no luxuries here.
Yeah, there's something very wrong with that statement. Yeah, that you just said. Yeah.
And people accept it. People want to believe it. I mean, then they get programmed by their own consciousness of being here for their children or their grandchildren. And life's about that. It's not about soul, what they are. What about soul can do? People, here's one of the most horrible statements in your reality, probably. Soul is here for itself, nobody else. Soul's not here for 100 children, 1,000 children, 1,000,000 children, 1,000,000,000 children. It is not. It will never get those people to any other level. And besides, it might not ever get itself to a level that it needs to attain to get out of here. So when you put all your attention on family, I'm not saying you can't love your family and be compassionate and all that, but thinking that's the only reality and that you're going to come back to that is creating a vortex that pulls you in and keeps you there. It's going to stop you from taking a step into the next realm because you can't go into the higher worlds being attached to everything here because you won't have any of it there. It's all taken away. You all know that when you go into heaven, you don't go with your money, you don't go with your car. Why not? Because you were told that you're not going to go with that? Well, you don't need a car in the Astor plane. But by the same token, what do you believe? A program. If you got there, you would understand the difference between there and here. Nothing you need here, you need there. Nothing. You don't have a body with a heart. You can't be stabbed in the heart. You're not going to get a heart attack. Soul leaves in a different way from there. We're like going to sleep and waking up. It's that simple. Here, you got to go to pain, suffering. Sometimes in your sleep, you might not know it or feel it, but it's a different way you leave your body. Astral plane, it's different. Every realm, it becomes so different and so natural. And it's like you're hanging on. You're not programmed to think that something's important. You are a soul to God when you're aware of what that means.
Is it also part of your karma being down here, being completely disconnected to the simplicity of everything? I mean, it seems to be a weird phenomenon. Why do people have to make things so complicated and have such complex thoughts for such a simple answer?
Well, man has created the word after Jesus created it, the word love. Mm-hmm. Man and women are being programmed to the max. Love is the most important word. So if you build yourself around that word based on man's definition of it, it's limited. All right? It doesn't need anything else. So when we talk about, like, we're stuck in this position of being a human, coming here with karma, which we do. Now, before you hear the word, as a soul coming into this reality, say it was your first time born on this planet in this time frame. You're a baby. You know nothing. All right? You have karma that's attached to you already. First off, you step onto a planet that's a karma. It has its own karma. The Earth's karma has its karma. The moon has its karma. Planets have their own karma. By stepping on the moon, you're dealing with that karma of that planet or whatever, moon or whatever. Like Mars, you step into that karma that it has. Then you bring yours, what you were before you are what you think you are right now. When you're being born into this planet, on this planet, you were probably here before. That soul has its karma that it has to deal with before it can go higher than this physical world. So it's born again. And when it comes into this reality, it's got Earth karma to deal with. It's got its past karma to deal with. So when we say, well, karma, it is attached to everybody. So everybody has to figure that out. And until they learn about that word karma, what it really means, and it's not like you can go to a priest, a minister, a rabbi, or a psychic healer, any of those people where they could wave their magic wand over you and take your karma away.
But Tommy, don't you know, all you have to do is go to church on Sunday and have Jesus wipe your sins, right?
Well, that's a programmed idea. The same as confession.
That's what the majority of people think, and my gosh, they're so wrong.
In Christianity, I mean, the Catholics believe that they can go to confession and just give their sins away and then just say they're sorry. But, they don't even read their own book, which is called the Bible, and Revelations written by John, okay, one of Jesus' followers, all right? He said there, what sins cannot be forgiven. Nobody reads that. Nobody wants the truth. Even the highest so-called Christian doesn't want to read the Bible, especially Revelations, because, it's too complex and it's too real. It talks about the destruction to the planet, what we're doing, what's happening, what's going down. It talks about why sins can't be forgiven, why we have to work out them in lifetime after lifetime. But people don't want to read that. And they rather live in this delusion like aliens are going to come and save us. Aliens are going to take your karma away. Aliens are going to make you spiritual. Aliens are going to do a lot of things. Like what? Name
See,
one thing they could really help us with.
and it's people's lack for responsibility. They do not want to take on their own responsibility, so they rather go with the flow and go with the mainstream brainwashing that Jesus wipes everyone's soul. Like people just picture Jesus sitting in heaven. That's all he's doing every second, wiping people's sins. Oh, I killed somebody. Oh, Jesus, just wipe that away. My gosh, I don't understand people.
Well, all right. I consider myself very gifted. I mean, I'm aware of all my past lives. And something everybody should learn, at least a couple of them, and know why they have so much karma and everything else, but they don't. So in the present, okay, when we talk about karma, most people say, well, I don't have no karma. I gave it to this person. And then they're stuck in this reality thinking that their little house is important. All right. Soul outside of the body is free. Soul inside the body is locked in a box. So as long as you keep yourself locked in a box, you're not going to grow. And when people are pulled into all these things, relationships and having children and a job, it's important. None of that's important. If you stayed, I mean, like the lamas do, they go in a cave for 40 years. But do they attain anything greater? You can't block out, what would I use the word? Growth, and assume you're going to get wisdom from nothing. All right? Becoming aware of soul is one thing, but soul's down here because it's not aware. So to sit in a cave for 40 years, they don't even know what reality looks like when they come out, never mind step back into reality, and be able to give them any information that's going to help them in the world that's so screwed up. So we build on top of I would say on sand. You build a house on it, and you keep going higher and higher. Just like the building that collapsed. It was shifting, and they knew it was shifting. And they were trying to reinforce it right before it crashed and fell. So, they always say the foundation is the most important thing. Without foundation, you got nothing to support you or stand on. Children are given no foundation. And then they're given program after program that creates these cities on no foundation. Without God, and to all the people out there that ever gets to listen to this, if they ever do, without God, there is nothing, right? Absolutely nothing.
And
I mean,
I can
God.
attest to that because, yeah, I run into and I talk to a lot of children, and they honestly do not have anything original to say. It's everything that they're saying. They're just regurgitating all the man-made ideas and everything that they've been fed.
It's funny, for maybe 10, 15 years, Star Children came out, Indigo Children, those two words came out. Now, parents were giving their children credit for being an aware being, giving them a little space to do things. They weren't teaching them anything because they had nothing to teach them. So these little children with this awareness still had nowhere to go. All right, if you don't have any guidance, you have to build the foundation. And again, if the foundation's not put in there, there is no place for them to go and be happy or safe. So when people go on about aliens and aliens and aliens, they cannot help us. They will not help us. They're not here for anything good, people. Never will be, never was. Go back as far as you want, all the way back to Atlantis. Aliens never did anything good for this planet. Never did anything good for humans. And deities, for the longest time, created sexual problems for the world. So we never got forward past that. Sex is still the number one thing for most men, anyway, today. So people, let's go to a UFO conference and see what they got to offer. Nothing. And they bring spiritual people in now, more so than they used to. And these spiritual people try to connect both. Well, aliens are spiritual and they're going to help us.
Hey,
Really?
I've got an idea.
Go ahead.
Um, you know how the New World Order is trying to, destroy the world and all this chaos? Why don't
Right?
they just ban sex and that will take care of itself?
They'd have to shoot themselves. No, you can't see, man. That's the problem. Man creates laws and everything to protect himself. I mean, when they came out with this sexual position called 69, it was outlawed in half of the countries in the United States. I mean, half of the states in the United States. Not that it was ever put on the books where people could go to court against it, because people would have to be caught doing it and things like that. And sex was a lot more private years ago than it is now. It's like totally unprivate anymore. And people really don't understand it, or look at it as an important thing if it's used in the right way. So that whole thing is a big screw up. And now reptilians have sex with humans. I did a TV show 27 years ago, I think. And the one girl that was on it was bragging how great sex was with a reptilian. So, if we listen to the stories, we listen to what went down, you're never going to hear anything positive from an alien story. The only thing that ever happened, and it was only for an hour, when the nuclear reactors were shut down on a couple different bases. But did they do anything more than that? No. All they were saying, you're going to fight it out the hard way. We won't let you destroy the planet with nuclear weapons. That's kind of what they were trying to say. But they gave us weapons that are much worse than that now. I mean, like the directed energy weapon and things like that. Extremely dangerous. More dangerous than anything else to play with. And what they do is they heat up something. When there's a fire burning, they zap it and it increases the fire by like 2,000 degrees. And they could burn things up. If you want to know how this is all going, no matter what aliens do, it's called UN Agenda 21-30. You need to read it, understand it. It's as real as it's going to get, because that's what's going to happen. 193 countries already agreed that that's the way they want to go. And if you know, I think 7 presidents already said we need one world order. All right. So it's not just Biden. It's not just this person or that person. It was already accepted. It's already a program. And it is affecting the world today. And basically, they're going to try to eliminate farmland and things like that, which Mr. Gates is doing. Wants to make sure that there's no cows to farm and no land to farm them on. All right.
Yeah, China's already buying up thousands of acres in Texas, which it should be illegal for any foreign country to buy up U.S. land. That's just ridiculous.
Well, China's going to own the world, and I really feel it's going to be Russia that's going to take China out. All right. And then Russia will help rebuild the United States. I'm serious about that. Biden's not a bad person. I don't look at him as a bad person. When he came out and said aliens are real and 2 of them want to destroy the planet, I think he's the most honest person out there. He says he doesn't want he wants global warming, because then he could farm many more months than they do right now and make food for the world. He's not an idiot. He's one of the richest people on the planet. And if you have that kind of money and you love your family, you want to take care of your family. So I don't blame him, whatever he does. I'm not saying everything he's going to do is right for us, but it sure is right for him. So imagine if any other rich person like Gates and Musk were really... Gates promised all kinds of things before he became what he was today. He said he was going to stop all child starvation and build homes and all these things he was going to do. And guess what? He walked away from that idea. Now he's buying every farmland to make sure that we can't grow cows. And he publicly said it last week. Cows farting is more dangerous than all the cars in the planet. And he's telling the world that. And you got Mr. Musk telling the world, aliens aren't here. He's going to put 26,000 satellites around the planet to completely cover the planet. And that's a good thing. People, I guess, are so programmed by computers, and because he's going to sell his own new computer site, which will be linked to all his satellites, meaning he'll be in everybody's brain. You're going to go into one consciousness because that's what you want. But it won't be the consciousness that you think that's great and everything else, because it'll be Mr. Musk's ego. And then where are you going to go from there? Nowhere. So I want to get into the one word that I just mentioned that I didn't get into. God. Without God, there is nothing. No Big Bang, no black hole, nothing. And now, if you understand what a God is, not what man said it to be, you might be a little more concerned about what God wants and is going to create over the next 100 years, 1,000 years. Remember, it went through phases. Dinosaurs, cavemen, different things. It went through a lot of different phases, seeing what's the best, more usable, what can grow, and what can actually become spiritual, aware. None of that could. Cavemen couldn't. Dinosaurs couldn't. All right. I'm not talking about what he's doing on other realities and other worlds. Every alien race has their own thing, but they're limited. They can't go past the astral plane. Their awareness isn't even half of what ours is. That is part of a reason why they monitor us. They don't know how we think. They don't know why we have feelings and emotions. They don't know why we care. They don't know those things. So I'm not talking about the reptilians or the greys. I'm talking about a lot of the so-called good aliens that are trying to come down here and crossbreed and everything else with us. We got a sick world going on. We got delusional people telling us what's right and wrong. We got this UFO world that's falling apart with no truth. We got the spiritual speakers going on and on about how good and spiritual and aware we are. Once we become aware of ourselves and step into that, really? How many people do that? So we're serious screwing ourselves every step we take, and nobody's looking at it. And all we hear is, well, disclosure. And sorry, people. And then I just heard him talking for the conference coming up tomorrow. Oh, well, disclosure is we're getting it in all different ways. No, you're not. Disclosure means aliens came here to eat us. That's all you need to tell people. Oh, well, there's no other, well, what? They didn't give us anything beneficial to the human race. Tesla was given weapons, people. 50 horrible weapons that the government took and are using. He created an earthquake machine and almost leveled the square block of New York City if they didn't break in and shut it off. He was a danger because he didn't know what he was doing either. And he wasn't just scientific brain. He was given the information. I'm not going to go into Einstein because Einstein worked with an alien as well. Half of his teachings are lies that we have accepted and molded into our reality, which they're only proving wrong now. Mm-hmm. So people, when you talk about aliens, think about it. What can they bring you to make you happy?
Well,
what was that?
Just look at the Phil Schneider story, and that should tell you everything about whether they're good or bad.
You know, I just said that before you came on, and I said, the second most important story is Phil Schneider's story. And you'll know aliens aren't good.
Yeah.
I mean, if you realize they do eat humans, you might be a little more concerned how all these people disappear. Nobody cares. The state parks don't have to tell how many people disappear in the park. I mean, the homeless people, we don't know how many homeless people disappear. In war, nobody reports how many people just disappeared in the war before they got shot, killed, or even after. All right? All those little things fit into what's going on, and nobody cares. But you want to hear, oh, a ship's going to land, and then we're going to learn what? There's nothing they can teach you. And what I'm trying to teach people is inside a person, not anybody else. And nobody else can give it to you. Sasha's one of my closest people, and he's dealing with it himself. He knows he's not going to get the answer from Joe Schmo walking down the street. No angel's going to come down and drop a gold brick on his head. Wake up and say, here's some money. I mean, it's not going to go down like that.
Right.
So, people, we're running out of time. And your disclosure is not going to be disclosure that you want when it happens. But people are paying more money than ever because they're desperate, afraid, alone, and bored. So when someone says, oh, we went on a trip to these planets and it was beautiful and great, and oh, wow, that sounds like fun. Anything that sounds exciting is a stimulating thing to an average person. So the more stimulating you make the story sound, the more they want it. But I'm telling you the opposite. Aliens are not going to help us in any good way. Even if you believe they are. I say this over and over. Watch the movie V. Seriously. Rent it. Pull it up online. Watch the series. I think it was on TV for 6 months. But they cut it together and you can watch it probably in a couple hours. What aliens will really do when they manifest and take over this planet. All right? It's not going to be what you think it's going to be. We're not going to move into the Jetson age. If you even know who the Jetsons are, what age it was like and everything. Everybody was flying around in little flying saucers and things like that. But we're not going to go there. You know, we could get to better places if the world was working together. If aliens were working with us, imagine where we could be. But everybody has an agenda. Every race has an agenda. Every country has an agenda. And the scariest part, they're all different. I was going to get into a lot of things. I was really going to get hardcore, which I didn't. I said, there's nothing worse than getting people that don't know nothing mad at themselves. That's all we need walking around the street. No, you need to become more aware who and what you are. Accept that. Deal with it. And then say to yourself, well, no matter how bad my karma is, I'm going to work it out. Remember, if your karma is real bad, you can't work it out in a lifetime. I know you might not want to hear that. But if you don't, it'll be 100 more lifetimes instead of just one more or two more. But the next lifetime, incredible if you bring a little awareness into it.
Yeah.
But people don't do that either. And people don't help you do that. Why?
I've yet to meet, with an exception of you, anyone else, either locally or anywhere else on the internet, that is speaking truth like you are, and it is pretty sad.
I mean, if you can sense that, you know what I feel? Every time I put up the internet, I pull up a conference, I pull up somebody speaking, and listen to it. I'll say his name because I'm going to bring him on my show in a week or so. Most likely, Eugene Braxton. He claims he's the top mystic on the planet. All right. I spoke with him an hour and a half, and we got into a great conversation. We're going to be talking again this coming week, and then we'll see if we go on. I mean, I can actually send you that link it's on Skype. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I guess he kept the camera on the whole time we were talking. But no, I plan on bringing him on. If I can get along with him, I don't want to bring somebody on that I'm going to fight with. And if we can work some things out, I want to bring him on because he claims he's a top mystic. Stop time and all these things. So I think that would be beneficial to hear what he has to say. I mean, claiming you're the number one on the planet is different than saying I'm a great person, I'm the top. So it's a little bit different. When you take that much credibility to yourself and make yourself that, now you got the problem of proving it. If you're on the bottom of the ladder, nobody cares. But if you say you're on the top of the ladder, everybody cares. How'd you get there? What are you doing?
Unknowingly, a lot of these people, by feeding all this, false information to people, they are inadvertently creating karma for themselves.
Well, every action we do is karma plus plus a negative. Usually it's a negative. And you're right. The things we do create karma. The jobs we take create karma. The actions we do when we do those jobs is karma. The way we treat our family, the way we treat our children. All of it is karma, people. And 98% of all adults abuse their children in some way. All right? Well, I don't abuse my children. I'm good to them. Giving them everything they want is abuse to children. So every concept of, well, I know this, right? No, you don't. Abuse can happen. And they always say bad things can happen from people thinking they're doing good, which is another lie. Sorry.
I see it. Most adults, they think raising kids is so easy, and for how I see them raising their kids is they spend like 5-10 minutes with them, taking care of them, feeding them, and then the parents go do their own thing, just leave the kids in front of the TV or the tablets. And I'm like, you guys don't realize once you have a kid, it is your responsibility to nurture and take care of it and to teach it properly, and
Well,
that is not happening.
with that being said, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Might be important.
Oh, tinfoil. I see that. Oh, you trying
Hey,
to
tinfoil. Mr. Tinfoil had it. Oh, there he is. It's just somebody cloning a number to me.
Okay.
What I was going to say, when we're a child, abuse can happen just by your parent saying you're stupid and whacking you on the head. That could screw a child up for life.
Mm-hmm.
When a parent says, yo, you're a fat little pudgy something, that can screw somebody up for their life. One sentence can screw a child up because they take it as real at that moment. But when a child gets beat and abused and all those other words that happen, it's abuse. When a child's phone has a bunch of friends and they make them move to another city, another state, that's abuse. Just about everything we assume is good for a child is usually not.
Right.
And when people say, I'm going to give him everything he wants, he'll love me, and then he'll do anything for me. No, he won't. There'll be a time when he's still begging you for doing stuff for him instead of him doing stuff for you. You have to teach a child how to be independent, aware, spiritually aware. And that means learning about protection and those kind of words. And when they do have children, how they give it to their children. But that's not taught nowhere.
Yeah, good luck public schools teaching your kids that.
Schools don't teach anything beneficial other than 2 + 2 = 4 and a couple little things. But as far as living a relationship, life, even recognizing yourself is not taught at any level. And that's where the danger is. Because children, like you said, they're not becoming any more aware.
Nope.
Like I said, when the Blue Star children, the Indigo and Star children came, they started dying out. And then when the Blue Star children came here, the government knew about it. And then they started abducting all the children with blue eyes and blonde hair, even though you didn't have to have that to be a Blue Star child. But they went out of their way. And then after a couple of years, they stopped coming here.
Yep. It's frustrating. It's kind of sad because the kids I talk to, they literally just regurgitate all the nonsense, human programming that their parents taught them.
Well, I mean, I can kind of consider myself like the watcher. Mother Teresa, a friend of mine, said she was the watcher, and she went back to tell what's going on with the world. Nobody had to go back to tell anybody what the world was. It was real easy to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Going nowhere. We're going backwards.
Yep.
And you think in 100 years, we unfolded scientifically a lot, from a radio to a TV to computer, all right, from a simple plane to high technology triangle ship and everything, but nothing about humanism. What a human is, how they react to each other, how they should react to each other, what we should do as a consciousness, and all those words. None of that was ever taught, and isn't. Going to church, people? What's it do for you? When was the last time Jesus stepped into the church and said hi? And then he took away your karma. Your son died, and he brought him back and handed him to you. When any of the stories that you believe ever happened in church or home or they came to me in my dream. Okay, now what? Yeah, you can hear stories. You could always fit a story into Jesus or God stepping into the picture. God usually doesn't. 99.9% of the time, God's not going to step into your picture. No reason for it, too. You don't deserve it. What person on this planet deserves to be sitting right next to God right now? Name one person. The Dalai Lama, he doesn't believe in God. Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle, New Age fools that believe in oneness and now and we are and all this and nothingness. Who? Should I
Well,
keep going?
with the statement that, God only cares about those souls that are aware and want to begin their journey. I wonder how many people in this lower realm that we're in are actually worthy of that.
So I'll see. There's a simple technique to do. When you get to the point and you're able to do it, I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what it is anyway. All right. When you do astro travel, people, when you leave your body sits there and you step out of it in your astral body. It's not remote viewing. Remote viewing's evil every which way. But astral projection, you're projecting out of your body. When you do things that can be bad, it's bad, but you can do things that are good, or you can meet with an angel and other things. But with astral projection, when you step out of your body, all you have to do is rise up through the house, through your ceiling, up into the sky, go up to a high level and look down at the planet. You can see how many people radiate light. A person of light can't shut it off. Wherever they go, whatever they do, they radiate light.
Okay.
And you could see how many balls of light are on the planet. And I will tell you this. I didn't look recently because I don't even want to know. I looked a long time ago. It was 10. And then it became a little bit more than that. But considering 7.4 billion people, that's a real scary thought to think that we say we're spiritual, we're moving forward.
Yeah, that's
So,
another frustrating thing. I hear so many people say, "Oh yeah, it's okay. I was nice to that person because I was spiritual. Because I'm spiritual." I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
well, school becomes a horror for some children. It
Yeah.
was a horror for me. Like when Tinfoil put it in the chat room, uh, grade school was a nightmare. High school was a lot worse, but not as bad as it was worse in different ways. All right. I mean, even the abuse I had when I was little, all those things together made it hard. But in school, you got all these children with no awareness, all stupid programs trying to convert you, make you believe, make you do this and that to fit along with what they're all doing. And it was usually nothing ever good. I was a loner. I was always working on a science fair project all year for the science fair. I wasn't out drinking, smoking, even when I got older. I mean, all my friends did constantly. Here in Hawaii, everybody's smoking and stoned out. I mean, it's a weird world right now, and it's because people are so depressed or coming from abuse. I'm doing 2 books. My one book is about sexual abuse at every level, and I think it's important because I teach and try to teach people things to do, not to do, how to protect themselves from things like that happening in the first place. Being prepared is a good motto. The Cub Scouts taught that. Be prepared. Be prepared for anything, and you should be, male or female. So there's so many things that we can do in our own reality for our own children to help them take a step to be more protected in their growth. But we don't. The computer
The
world has. Go ahead.
the Boy Scouts should teach them how to prepare to leave the body.
Well, that's see, I was ahead of everybody when I was in the Scouts, and
Yeah.
I never did. You have to do these things to get a merit badge, and everybody was trying to get merit badges.
Right.
I had a few, but I said I don't want that one. I don't want that one. My brother got 25 because you become a chief, or what's the word? The highest you can go in the Scouts and things like that.
Eagle Scout.
Eagle Scout, right? But again, oh, you had to swim this distance to get a swim badge. You had to do this for this. So why? I was out in the woods with my friend, and we would go to these ponds and play with the newts and salamanders and frogs and you name it. I mean, just to show you how perverted it was, we came back with a couple frogs, and that afternoon, the guys were playing baseball with the frogs. I mean, men in general, boys, are so pathetic, so evilly taught about life. There's no guidelines.
Yeah.
And if they think an alien's going to come down and help us, what? build morals, we erase them. Every day we try to scribble them out and cover them up and add a new word. Do what you want. You're free. You're free will. You're God. You can create and be. And all those imaginary words that do not exist for a human. But aliens are even less aware of that part of reality. Technology is just a program of how to do something. Technology doesn't change who you are or how you do it and things like that. It just changes the things you do, whether than driving in a car rather than a spaceship or whatever, but it changes that reality, but it doesn't change your awareness of who and what you are. And that's more important than every other thing out there.
Mhm.
I mean, I saw thousands of ships. I saw an alien. I was next to an alien. I was next to a Bigfoot. So what? Did it help me in any way? It made me realize that everything that I experience is real. I was doing ghost busting when I was 14 till I was like 19. I mean, I became a witch and learning about psychic abilities. They all exist, but using them here and now is dangerous to the planet. And people don't know that. The UFO world, her name's Caroline Corey. She put a movie out, Among Us, and she's putting another movie out. She's begging people to send her their UFO pictures so she can do a movie on it. Uh, she claims she could levitate a piece of paper. She claims she could change the energy of DNA of people or anything.
Has she taken a video of any of that?
Well, supposedly, I know she had a piece of paper in front of her, but she had her hands over this DNA, and that they had science analyze it and said, oh, the DNA was changed.
Okay.
So she's trying to prove who and what she thinks she is. I write her a letter almost every day, and I said, why can't you respond? You're so spiritual and so aware and all these things, and you can't even reply. So nobody replied to me except the person that I'm bringing, that I told you, Jim Braxton. He claims a lot of things, but he's willing to talk to me, which he did, and he wants to talk to me more, and we might do a show together. To me, no matter how bad or good he was, he's taken a step beyond that. He's stepping out of the program boundaries, meaning giving space to be attacked, which most people will not do. They want to believe they're the best or this, that. They won't let somebody challenge them on that. They can't because they're not that. Nobody is what they say they are. I never said I was spiritual, ever, people. I can teach you how to find it and work towards it, but I'm not going to say I'm that. And I can't say you are that until you attain it. So, people, look, I'm doing a workshop. Please, I'll be putting it up. I'll put the link up. You want to learn something? You want to get into this in detail, which would take hours and hours. And it's going to be hard to do it in a couple series of my workshops, but I want to try. Trying is better than not trying at all. Putting truth out there is better than not putting truth out there at all. So my mission is to put a little truth out there before I leave this planet. And
Unless
there's people out there. What was that?
Unless it's false truth, like everybody else is putting out there.
Well, the truth that they're putting out is not truth, and the truth that I'm trying to put out there is truth. Well, how do I know it's true? You know how? Test it for yourself. Learn about these things and then test them. You'll find out I'm not lying. There's gods, there's little gods in all these realms that you go to. Very few people can talk about that.
Well, now, I get people that so angry at me. Well, if it's the truth, then tell me. I'm like, that's the whole point. I can't tell you the truth. You have to experience it.
Well, there's a woman. Her name's Alnek or something like that. She's from Venus. All right. She's out there speaking, lecturing. She helped create Ekankar a long time ago. She almost died. She was really sick. She's one of the 7 people that supposedly came to this planet from Venus.
Okay.
You heard of Thor, who actually went to the White House,
Mm-hmm.
and all these. There's a couple other names out there. So what they did and everything, Thor had powers. Alnek has 0 powers. So if we're going to try to prove something, you have to have something to back it up. I mean, she became a little bit famous, not world famous. Most people never even heard of the name. So when you hear John Lennon, I'd say 80% of the planet know that name.
Yeah.
And he was abducted, people. He was really abducted. Didn't like it. But guess what? Out of all the UFO people I have ever met, listened to, not one of them was ever given a gift, which John Lennon was.
Hmm.
So that's something really bizarre. I mean, I've been trying to get in touch with the person that has that gift because he gave it to somebody. I've been trying to get them on my show, trying to talk to them, but their ego is super, super big. He claims he's one of the top psychics on the planet as well. So, again, the truth is out there, people. Are you ready for it? Are you willing to sift through the garbage to get to it? And seriously, you have to go through the garbage to get to it. The mountains around it, you have to climb over them. They're not going to disappear. And they're not just going to be what you want it to be because some person came up, I'm the magic guru, and puff, you're cured. You got no more karma. It's not going to happen that way. So, people, I'm glad you listened. You came on. Send this link to everybody you can. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a workshop, and I promise you it would be the most outrageous workshop that was ever done by a person on this planet.
Now, from what I understand, only God has that ability, right?
Which ability?
If it chooses to clear someone's karma.
God could do that for anything, anytime.
I say if. Right. That's a big if.
It's a if, and like I said, it's like if you look at a fish tank with 1,000 fish in there, and you see one little fish starving over there, and you tap on the glass, and he comes over there, and you feed him. Right? You're playing God for that fish. But do you watch every fish and care about every single fish in that fish tank? Of course not. So when a soul steps beyond the boundaries of the limitations of this reality, God might not even listen, but God might have an angel listening. And then it's going to be up to that angel to take you to God to say, hey, look, what's happened to me. So it's not simple, and it's not like God has to listen to anybody say anything, because we don't say anything important ever.
Right.
Not one person out there. And when we hear about UFOs and satellites and government, we don't care about people in general. And it's sad. So, Sasha, my line's always open. Anybody out there want to ask me a question? Please do. Hawksblood1, AOL.com, or Skype me, Hawksblood11. When I do my workshop, I promise to give everybody a link. They can contact me 24 hours, day or night. Questions, answers, whatever they need in their life, I will be there. I'm not going to give anybody something and not be responsible for what I give them. All right. Techniques are simple. I'm not going to be making you do 1,000 push-ups on one finger or anything like that, or tell you you're Superman when you're not. I don't lie, I don't cheat, and I'm not going to do anything like that for a person that I'm trying to help move forward. I mean, it'd be easy if I say, "Oh, you're healed now. You got rid of all your karma," but guess what? They didn't. Then when they die and reincarnate, they won't even know what happened, and that's the scariest thing. Like same as Alzheimer's disease and things like that, dementia, people losing their memory and dying. I think that's the saddest way to go.
There was a case in Australia, an elderly couple. They had health issues and dementia, and it was written in their health records. But for some reason, the state went in and vaccinated them, and the son took a picture of them. They're literally just like vegetables on the couch.
Well, the newest picture is a 12-year-old just got the shot and died. Middle of the night. Last week, another child died.
Yep, I heard about that one.
They said it's going to take 3 or 4 months before they can start giving every child the inoculation. Really? I said, these parents are giving their children over to be vaccinated. They should be put in jail.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, to do something like that, we can't do a test on a monkey, but we can do it on a little child. We can't do it on a pig, but we can do it on a little child. Really, people? Like I said, morals are shot. There are none here. And if you really think aliens can help us in any way, good luck with that one. All right, people. I had you on. I hope you got something out of it. Text me, call me. Thank you, Sasha. Anytime, you know that. Peace,
Yes.
love,
Thank you,
compassion, whatever
Tony.
you need in your life.
Yep.
Don't stop until you get it. Don't stop. Don't sell yourself short either. Ever. All
Yep.
right.
Yep. And thank you, Tommy, for your time as always.
Pleasure.
Yep.
Peace,
Bye-bye.
everybody.